Great. Okay, we're good. So just to check, first and foremost, I've got your names right. You are Russell and Rachel Fowler. Yeah. And the name of your business is BSL Courses.
Correct.
Yeah. Website.
BSL Courses. Well, our business name is actually bslcourses.co.uk limited.
Okay.
Because of the website, it's the same.
So we just use that. That's fine. It's just for continuity, really, for the purpose of print.
But capital BSL and then lowercase courses.co.uk.
I will send you what I write up, and you can check it before it goes in. So if there's any discrepancies, we can address those. Tell me first and foremost about the business, its history, really. Go back to the beginning and tell me how it evolved to where it is today.
Yeah, sure. You want to do it? Yeah.
You want me to start? Okay. Really, when me and Russell met on a date, we went on a date. Russell was asking me questions about my job, and I was explaining that I was travelling for work. I had to go to London, to Scotland, Wales, all over the country. And he sort of said to me, why are you doing that? And Rachel said, oh, because I have to run physical courses in all these centres. And then Russell's idea was, why don't you set up online? And Rachel, she said, I laughed at him, really. I can't teach online, it's impossible. And Ross said, no, you can. And then over time, we eventually carried on dating, then we got married. And then I thought, actually, do you know what? Why not? Why don't I set up online? Because I am traveling all over. I've got commitments, I've got children, you know, it was quite bad, really. So Russell's brother was a computer programmer. So he had some ideas on how to set the courses up online. How long did it take him to do that? It was 1 or 2 years now?
About 18 months to build the website.
About 18 months it took. And then finally, we were set up online. We had our website was born. We had 2 students who we had a trial course with, sort of a test run, and we realised actually it was working really well. It took a lot of time to develop it, the material and putting everything online. And back in that time, 2011, webcam, it was a bit basic. You know, Wi-Fi was a lot poorer back then. It was much slower. But now, you know, it's really fast. We've got fibre optics. We've improved the quality of everything. So, yeah, that's the story, really, of how we got here. And we're still going. We're growing, recruiting more and more teachers to work with us online. Getting more and more students. So it's been really good, actually, been really successful. I feel bad now laughing at Russell's idea back then because I thought it wouldn't be possible. I thought it would never happen, but actually, it has happened.
So when did Russell have that first idea? When were you dating? When was that first sort of, why don't you put it online?
So we were dating around the 2007 time, and when I was getting to know Rachel more about what she does and what qualifications she has, I thought to myself, Rachel is definitely high up there as a BSL teacher and everything.
Yeah, he had a lot of questions for me, a lot of questions. I thought, this is a date, not a business meeting.
Because I came from a computing background at university, I had that basic experience of computing and how we could sort of marry our 2 skills together and create a website where people can just access Rachel's training material in video format. And so we started filming material around 2009 or 10, and that took a very long time to film and edit. Lots of outtakes, lots of light bulbs.
In the living room, can I just add, we did it in the living room the first time. There wasn't a proper studio. The quality was quite poor, actually.
In hindsight, yes. Yeah, using our living room with poor lighting. Looking back, the material was awful.
Yeah.
But the the training material wasn't awful. So yeah, it quickly picked up. It started off slowly when we launched the website in January 2011. It was quite slow to start with because we were the only ones that were doing it online.
Mm.
So a lot of people, like Rachel, was unsure at how online teaching could actually be achieved. But with the video material that we had, coupled with regular webcam tutorials, I had big belief that it would work.
Yeah.
And then patience was rewarded really in the following year, where we had double the amount of students. So it was really, really good. Yeah.
So your students, talk to me about your students. I'm guessing there's a very broad range of people, and demographically speaking and professionally speaking. Is that the case?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a very varied student base. We have teachers of the deaf, social workers, nurses, some doctors as well have joined the courses. Yeah, so many different people, police, ambulance drivers, very, very broad. Lots of different people, lots of different ages as well. We've got really, really young students. I think 12 is our youngest at the moment, 12 or 11, all the way up to 70. Yeah.
And
we've had them all over the world as well. We've had some students from America, Spain, Italy, Dubai, Oman, all over really. It's been crazy. But people have actually done the course when they've been traveling as well. So we've had a few students that have been gone traveling and they've been doing their tutorials wherever they are in the world. So that's been really good.
that's amazing. That's really amazing. And do you think the traction is it because it's now available online, or is it because there is greater awareness of the value of British Sign Language, or is it a combination of the two?
Yeah, I would say that it's the combination of the two, really, because as technology improves, people are more aware of what they have available. For example, they can probably do their tutorials on their phone.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas 10 years ago, there wasn't such a thing as being able to get camera or doing FaceTime on your phone. So it would always have to rely on computers that weren't exactly brilliant at doing that kind of thing. But I was very aware of computer technology 10 years ago, or now it's actually 12, 13 years ago. So I was always up to date with the different types of technology.
Yeah.
And that's why we launched it in 2011, because I knew about the technology out there. And so, as well as the other thing you said was about the awareness of the language and the deaf communities. So, yeah, it's very much a marriage between the two. Yeah, absolutely.
So, perfect storm, really.
It kind of is, yeah.
Can I ask you both a bit, I mean, you touched on your professional paths, but can you tell me a little bit more? I mean, it seems that you've both got the perfect dovetailing sort of professional credentials, but sort of just take me back a bit. What has been your career pathway to where you are today?
Sorry, it's frozen then. Yeah. It's a long story. I'll try and make it brief, but I was born deaf myself, and I really wanted to become a teacher of the deaf. That was my ambition. I think I was about 3 or 4. I used to, act out, role play, and be a teacher, use a microphone, tend to teach children. That was in my mind for quite a long time. That's something I wanted to do. Then I went to university in Chichester, and I started a BA Arts and Education, but through that course, I think it was in the third year, I started to hit quite a lot of barriers because it was expensive to bring interpreters to support me in my course. So obviously I couldn't get help. There wasn't enough funding. So I had to think about, maybe I can't get through this, or so I stopped it. I finished my degree, sorry, but then I stopped that. And I went on a different route, and I done my PGCE in education so I could teach adults. Because I was recommended by a teacher of the deaf, they said I should teach sign language. I thought, me, no, I can't do that. But back then, when I was younger, sign language was actually banned in schools. We weren't allowed to use it. So I was very unsure. Sign language, was I allowed to teach it? Should I teach it? Would I get in trouble for this? So there was a lot of risks. But obviously that's massively improved now today. The SL is definitely more recognised. It's official. It's a formal language now. So anyway, I started teaching level 1 and I had to go at level 2. And then eventually I started to improve my experience, my knowledge, and I travelled all over the country because there were very few sign language teachers or assessors, internal verifiers, external verifiers. There was very few of us. So now I'm at the point where I'm recruiting students and then teaching them how to teach BSL. So I'm offering them a course in September. I'll be offering them a teaching course. That's the first time. I'm really excited about that. It's the first time that'll be available.
It's like a change of guards now. You're passing on the baton to younger deaf teachers.
And what about you, Russell?
So I was born deaf as well, and I went to hearing schools. And by the time the secondary school came, it was such an awful experience for me, and I was the only deaf person there. So it was very isolating, and there was, teenagers weren't exactly the most patient people. So I just used to have an outlet which was in sport. And when I went to college, that was when I started to do a computing BTEC. And the people were nice, but I realised that I wasn't really finding my identity, which was really quite lonely, not knowing who I am or who am I supposed to be. And then thankfully, because I like playing golf, when I went to the audiology to test my hearing, my mum asked the secretary a few questions, and then coincidentally, her son was also deaf and also likes golf. So when I met him to play a round of golf, he was full sign language to me, and that was the first time that I ever saw sign language. I was 17.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it really punched me in the face about the different types of deaf people as well as different languages. So I started to learn very basic sign language from him, and he then introduced me to a deaf club where we went to university together. And the pub that we went to was full of deaf people signing, and my jaw dropped, goosebumps everywhere, and that's when I really started to learn the language as well as find my identity. So it was really important to me to be able to allow other people to experience what I did, and to learn the language and to make friends with the deaf community. And that's, it was the best feeling in the world when I managed to find my identity and was part of the deaf community. And hence why I'm passionate about setting up the website and getting other people to learn the language.
Well, talk to me a bit about how I can help with the paper. What are your key messages? What would you like me to write? What would be helpful? Because if you tell me, we'll then assume that I asked the relevant question, if that makes sense.
just really want to explain BSL is an official language, that there is a deaf community, and it's not a negative thing, it's positive. If you're born with no hearing, it doesn't mean that you're not. If you're born deaf, it doesn't mean your life is limited. It doesn't mean you're limited to do things. It just means that other people need to learn how to communicate with you or communicate with the community. So rather than myself learning how to speak, because actually teaching a deaf child how to speak properly is really difficult. Sometimes it's successful, but a lot of the time it's not successful. So it's really tiring to speak for a long time. It's really hard work. So sign language, it doesn't need to be hard work, you know, it's quite easy, it's more natural. So I'm still correcting Russell's signs. I can't take my teacher hat off. It's permanently on. I'm still telling him to polish up and correcting him.
So yeah, I think our main message that we want to get out there is that there's a lot of services out there that really could do with some deaf awareness training, as well as learn some basics of sign language, so that whoever they see, whether it's health, education, social care, what have you, if there's a basic knowledge, then life would be so much easier, not just for the deaf people, but for the hearing people as well. The people that are trying to provide a service to deaf communities, it would do them a massive favour as well. So we want to just say, look, we're here, we are offering a service that is required, and people, services out there need this knowledge, because it would be just golden for both the deaf communities and service providers. Yeah.
No, I think that's very neatly summarised by both of you. I think that sort of absolutely nails it. And so, I mean, I think probably the best thing for me to do is let's meet again in another 6 months' time and do another one of these, because I've only got 500 words to kind of shoehorn stuff into. But I'm really happy to run these at fairly regular intervals. So that's grand. But so talk to me a little bit about you two. When you're not running your business, what is downtime? How do you relax? What's family life like? How many children do you have? So you've got 2 children?
4.
4 children. Oh my God. And are they hearing or non-hearing? They're all hearing? Yeah.
They're all hearing, yeah, they're all hearing. They're called a child of a deaf adult. A CODA is the term, CODA, child of a deaf adult is a specific name for them. So they're exposed to both languages, sign language and spoken English. So
yeah. Because we've got a very hectic lifestyle, family style, in terms of us two spending time together and having downtime,
not a lot.
It's non-existent, I'm afraid.
Not playing too much golf these days then, Russell?
Well, kindly, Rachel is allowing me to escape to some golf rounds.
Yeah, I do. I'm very kind. Very kind of me.
This year, I've been training and preparing for the European Deaf Golf Championships in Finland.
Wow.
This is only 11 days from now.
What are your chances?
I'm going to say I'm going to win. No, I'm still learning a new swing, so I would be very, very surprised if I win it. But if I can be in the top 10, I'll be happy.
But as a family, what do you do for fun and relaxation?
So Alex is 19, and then the next one is 17. So they've kind of got their own lives now. The other two are 11 and 8. So if Rachel and I are not too burdened with work, we just generally just relax, you know, and go out on the weekends, spend some time together, eat out, probably visit other family members and close friends who also like we have deaf friends and they've got children, so we meet up and have some fun together.
But you live locally as well, you're Bognor based.
Yeah, we live in Bognor Regis at the moment. I'm from Canaan Island, and Rachel's always been the Bognor lass.
Road. My parents' house is just round the corner.
Oh, perfect.
I've grown up in Bognor. I'm a Bognor girl through and through.
You from Hampshire, really? You've come across the border.
Yes, that's right.
Just one final question, if I may, and if I can get it in, I will. Lily was telling me there are proposals for a GCSE in British Sign Language. Is that correct? Yeah. And would that presumably is something you would welcome?
Oh, definitely, 100%. I went to one school, Bishop Luffer in Chichester, and did a deaf awareness training session there, and it was really interesting. I was teaching Year 8 children, and they were all just amazed. They loved learning basic sign language. They were really, really into it. And I asked them, you know, hopefully in the future, it might be a GCSE, and all of them put their hand up straight away. All of them were really keen and wanted to learn. They felt it would be really useful for their life and their future and work, have something like that, have a qualification like that. French, German, Spanish, it is useful language, but they didn't feel that they would be something they would use that in everyday life, whereas BSL they potentially could. So yeah, they were loads of them really excited, but the worry was there's not enough teachers who can teach BSL. So that's another reason why we've set up the teacher training course, so that hopefully there can be more teachers that can go out there and go out to schools and teach BSL. So hopefully that will grow. Hopefully we'll get the numbers, fingers crossed.
That's amazing. I think in terms of 500 words, I have more than I know what to do with. But as I say, I'll distill it down and send it to you for approval, make sure I don't miss anything critical. And then let's revisit it in 6 months' time, perhaps with one of your students as the interviewee.
Sorry, Vicky, my coffee machine's going off in the background. Can you say that again?
I was just saying I've got enough, more than enough for the 500 words that I've got, but I'd like to revisit the conversation in, say, 6 months' time, and perhaps interview one of their students so we can talk about it from their perspective. Is that all right?
Yeah, we've got 2 that are actually here learning who've joined the level 1 course in September. Oh, they're coming here. Oh no, in the office. Oh, yes, they actually work at the track. Sorry, to clarify. Yeah, so they're joining, so they could potentially do it.
Very happily talk to them, and then we can cross promote them if we have winner. No, that is absolutely lovely. So thank you very much for interpreting.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Vicky.
Yeah. Where is she?
Hello, nice to meet you.
Chat. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vicky.
I need to take your photo, is that right? Or if you have one.
This
Yeah.
looks serious.
Yeah. Well, not too serious.
No, let me just do that. How do you want this?
I'll show you in a minute. It's really just a kind of casual snap, really. But if you want to have that in there, please do. I'm not.
Yeah,
on my camera.
I've never done this before, so I don't know.
Will it?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
No. Rachel's saying no.
Or if we step outside and you just hold it either side, either of you. Oh, that might work. Yeah, go for that. Try that. You want to just shuffle in, and I might, will this desk take my weight?
Stay.
Don't get hit on the head by it.
How do you want us to
Well,
stand or?
it would be better if you were sitting, really, but I don't know whether that will work with the chair.
No.
There is
How
a lot of,
about-
there's a lot of shadow in here. Just hold
Or-
it outside.
Outside.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
like outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just-
Oh, that's better. Yeah. Bring her with us. Maybe let me try that.
Oh yeah.
What's to pretend to be silent?
Do you know what? That's not great. It would be better if you could. If the
Or-
thigh is too long, and I'm afraid.
The side.
Can we put you against this wall? Because there is a blank wall here, and you'll get the web stuff in there, I promise you. So if you can get in the middle there, that's it. Yeah, it just really needs to be a candid and intuitive head and shoulders that we do. That's it. Second 36. That one. There we go. That gives me plenty. So, bit out of focus. Oh, that's nice. Okay, go on. Start up.
Yeah, that's as much taller than me, Rachel's saying. I should have got a step so we had the same height.
All the best people are short. Yeah, lovely. That's super. Super, Deepa. Thank you. Right, put them on. And you, I just need to grab my bag. I left my bag in there. Are you in time to use?
Brilliant. Well,
Lovely. Thank you so much.
hearing from you next.
I'll give you a couple of weeks because I've got 2 or 3 in front of you, but I will be in touch.
Right.
And Lily has really enjoyed it. I have to say she's really jealous.
Good fun.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Have a lovely day and tell Isla well done for yesterday.
I will
She
do.
was
thank you.
great.
All right.
So,
Thank you very much. Oh.